Major funding for NJTV News is provided in part by the members of the New Jersey Education Association, making public schools great for every child, and PSE&G. We make things work for communities.
Tonight on NJTV News, why big oil could have a big impact on your holiday weekend travel plans.
Skyrocketing gas prices got you down? A U.S. Senator says he's got a plan to help.
Why did Governor Murphy cancel his appearance on Ask the Governor? We asked the governor.
On this gorgeous day in Atlantic City, we're going to talk about hurricane season and how this newly built seawall is supposed to protect the boardwalk.
Plus, lawmakers resurrect a proposal to cap unused sick time payouts for public workers, and a tribute to our armed forces aboard the world's greatest battleship right in Camden. Those stories and more next on NJTV News.
Live from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway Center in Newark, this is NJTV News with Mary Alice Williams.
Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Brianna Venozzi. Mary Alice Williams is off today. This is the weekend. Motorists hit the road for the official start of the summer travel season. And as they do, they'll be reaching deeper into their pockets at the pump. Railing against high gas prices is an issue energizing the National Democratic Party. Here at home, Senator Bob Menendez is using it as fuel for a new platform piece. Senior correspondent David Cruz reports.
In the run-up to the Memorial Day weekend, gas prices have been spiking. You've probably noticed, and so has U.S. Senator Bob Menendez, who today stopped by the Vince Lombardi rest stop, hoping to raise the ire of the motoring public.
The price of the pump has gone up a nickel in the last week, nearly 20 cents in the last month, and 62 cents since this time last year. So it may not seem like much to some, but a few cents here, a few cents there, over the time it adds up to hundreds of dollars siphoned out of families' paychecks straight into the coffers of big oil.
In fact, the price of gas in the state went up 10 cents this morning. And as the senator noted, higher gas prices not only hit you when you go to the pump, but it's also baked into the cost of just about everything, from weekly groceries to the bills you pay your contractors.
It's time for oil companies to pass on some of their massive windfall from the Trump tax bill to consumers. In 2017 alone, the 17 largest oil and gas companies raked in $25 billion in tax breaks from the Trump tax cuts.
Motorists know the drill by now. Holiday season usually means higher gas prices. This Pennsylvania family is trying to make it through New Jersey without having to gas up again. How much does that play a role in how you plan vacations and stuff like that?
Not a lot. If we had something going on, we say, okay, we're going to have to go, and whatever the gas prices are is what we pay them.
You build it into the cost of the trip.
That's right.
And small business, they feel it too. Just ask this contractor. How does it affect business? You can't.
I got to go up a little bit on the prices to cover for the gas. You know, I don't only work in Jersey, I work all over. So.
How many times do you fill this up a week?
Like 2 times a week, maybe 3.
So you feel that?
Yeah, definitely.
How many gallons in this thing?
About 30.
Ouch. Yeah. Democrats across the country have taken aim at gas prices this week. Here's Menendez at a gas station in D.C. making a similar pitch this week, hoping to smear the president with big oil. But Menendez found himself answering his own political questions today about a new FDU poll that has his lead over Republican Bob Hugin down to 4 points. The senator urged us all to consider the source.
The poll is a total outlier to every other public poll that there's been. The amount of undecideds is like 46 or 48%. In every other poll, they were in the teens. So, you know, you'll all have to judge whether a poll is actually on point or is an outlier.
The senator says he's not worried about Hugin and that when it comes to the race for Senate, he's got a lot left in the tank, even if it's going to cost a little more for him to get across the finish line. In Ridgefield, I'm David Cruz, NJTV News.
Governor Murphy's kicking off the holiday weekend down the shore, touting the completion of a 3-year road construction project from Toms River to the Barrier Islands. He says it'll ease your traffic burden as you head to the beach this summer. But it was something the governor didn't do that stole the thunder and headlines today. Senior correspondent Brenda Flanagan has the story.
Yeah, so I wasn't happy.
Governor Murphy stood before a newly opened bridge spanning the waves of Barnegat Bay and discussed bigger waves he made by ditching the Ask the Governor call-in radio show last night. He says the show's sponsors, public radio stations WNYC, WBGO, and WHYY, broke faith by including a reporter on the panel.
I have a lot of time for public radio. Their vision of that show was Meet the Press, and ours was Ask the Governor. And our view is that there's plenty of opportunities to engage with the press, as we're doing, right, as we speak. That show is intended for us to have a direct, unfiltered relationship and access to the 9 million residents who want to call in and ask anything they want.
The radio show has only one prior episode in the can, and that did include a reporter, NJ Advanced Media's Matt Arco. But the governor's office had indicated to the program's executive producer at WBGO that was not the format they wanted. An hour before airtime, they still had no agreement?
We thought we did. We thought we did. You're a little bit surprised by that? So was I.
So was Nancy Solomon, host of Ask the Governor, who commented today on the Brian Lehrer Show that the stations refused to pull a reporter at the governor's last-minute request. But
I was unaware of a problem until 6 o'clock last night. I think there had been some conversation about it with the manager at WBGO, but it was not clear that the extent to which they disagreed.
WBGO's Amy Niles told us we had a written proposal that was presented and accepted by the governor's office that included the reporter and was exactly as presented in the first show. All sides are working on a solution. Meanwhile, Major League Sports is seeking concessions in New Jersey's new sports betting legislation, like integrity fees. Murphy confirmed he met with reps yesterday, including former Major League pitcher Al Leiter.
Threw a 94-mile-an-hour slider right under my chin.
No, really.
We're working with the legislative leadership. I'm going right now back over to Trenton. We're going to have a meeting. I'm sure this will be part of that.
Also part of that discussion probably will be the IRS's recent threat to bar New Jersey's new law offering a workaround on the $10,000 federal cap on state and local tax deductions, or SALT. Without it, tax bills would soar, and taxpayers might be much less agreeable to the governor's plans to raise revenues.
They're playing politics over policy, and we won't let them get away with that. So if we have to, we're going to sue them.
Murphy will spend the Memorial Day weekend at the governor's official beach residence. He says he's not bringing a beach chair. He will be back to work next week trying to avoid a government shutdown over the budget. In Seaside Park, I'm Brenda Flanagan, NJTV News.
Well, the fight over a millionaire's tax is sucking the oxygen out of Trenton, but there's a whole lot of movement on other bills. Rhonda Schaffler standing by with tonight's business news. Rhonda.
Brianna, one of the many bills considered in Trenton this week ahead of the holiday is one that targets 6-time payout for New Jersey state workers. An Assembly committee advanced a bill that would cap sick leave payouts at $7,500. Under current law, New Jersey caps sick leave payouts for all state workers at $15,000. According to NJ Spotlight, local governments are on the hook for about $1.9 billion in unused sick time for their workers. The sick time bill is advancing through the legislature in the midst of budget season where lawmakers remain at odds over spending and potential new taxes. Earlier, David reported about the big jump in gas prices. There's an ironic twist to that story. New Jersey may soon be catching a break. That's because two of the world's biggest oil producers, Russia and Saudi Arabia, said today they may allow more oil supply onto the market. Those countries still have a strong influence on prices, even as America becomes a bigger energy producer.
There's plenty of oil in America, and there appears to be a chance that there could be a lot more oil in the world than we at first thought, and that's sending oil prices down. Inevitably, those prices will start to make themselves felt at the gas pumps, but we may not be looking for that for another week or so.
And it's not clear how much gas prices could drop or if they will continue to do so. State officials have already projected a strong tourism season in the Garden State, and one company, Airbnb, is also predicting an uptick in business over the holiday weekend. Airbnb says it expects over 1,700 guests to stay at Airbnbs along the Jersey Shore. That's a 40% increase over this past week. Meantime, AAA says across the U.S. this weekend will see the highest number of travelers since 2005. Fiat Chrysler has issued one of the largest vehicle recalls ever in the U.S. It's warning owners of some 4.8 million vehicles to stop using cruise control immediately due to a potential problem that could leave the driver unable to cancel cruise control during certain situations. The recall covers 14 Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and Dodge models built over the past 4 years. Turning to stocks now, the NJCU 50 index of New Jersey companies rose about a point, and in the broader market, stocks were mixed. The Dow fell 58 points. And those are our top business stories.
Two Democratic lawmakers are looking to strengthen the state's Move Over law. Assembly members Eric Hotaling and Joanne Downey are reminding drivers they need to reduce speed and move out of their lane when possible when approaching an emergency vehicle on the side of the road. Those who don't risk a fine between $100 to $500. Ahead of travel this weekend, the legislators are highlighting a new bill to take it a step further, imposing 2 points per violation on your motor vehicle license. Well, with 2 new casinos opening this summer and others preparing for legalized sports betting, Atlantic City is poised for a banner season. Add to it the long-awaited reconstruction on a section of the famed boardwalk, a massive seawall that'll protect that inlet section from future storms and hopefully spur new development. Andrew Schmertz reports.
22 years after it was first proposed, the seawall along the boardwalk at Pacific is officially open for the summer season.
What a way to start the Memorial Day season. A lot of times we hear about government not being able to work together. For something like this to happen, it has to basically be the federal government, state, and local.
The $38.6 million project involved 99,000 tons of stone along a 1,776-foot seawall. And besides protecting the boardwalk from major storms, as you can see, it's not a bad place to cast a line and go fishing.
This project is obviously a tremendous win to be finished. It started when I was in my first term as a member of Congress. So 1996 is when this got on the books. And we tried and tried and tried, and it wasn't until we were able to access the Sandy money because this area had tremendous damage.
Initially, that was a fight, as some Southern members of Congress tried to curtail federal aid for states hit hardest by Hurricane Sandy. The Boardwalk Restoration Project was a partnership with the state and federal government and was led by the Army Corps of Engineers, which produced this time-lapse video. It shows what the shoreline looked like before the seawall was started and after it was finished.
It's an honor to stand here in front of you now, though, to open up a section of the boardwalk to its citizens to enjoy.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration forecasted this week for an average to slightly above average hurricane season.
It is really, really important that we be prepared for the next one because it will come.
Along the boardwalk, longtime residents are once again hoping this work and other projects will finally turn Atlantic City around.
It's been a long time coming, and I think it was a great effort on the state and local level and by the mayor here. I think it will really help business as far as that's concerned, especially with the opening of the 2 new casinos and Stockton College and the gas company. So I think that's really going to help out a lot.
The next step for the boardwalk restoration is to build a steel wall further north that should protect the area from flooding. In Atlantic City, Andrew Schmertz, NJTV News.
Prom night aboard a yacht ends early after a collision on the Hudson River. That tops tonight's Garden State Express. Our first stop, Hoboken. That's where the dinner cruise yacht carrying prom goers from Weehawken High School crashed into an empty boat docked at Pier 14. All students and staff aboard were examined by EMS. No serious injuries were reported, though spirits were dampened after the night was cut short. So far, no cause for the crash as the U.S. Coast Guard investigates. Photos and videos taken by bystanders show the larger yacht, Cornucopia Destiny, rear-ending the smaller, empty boat, causing it to hit the pier, knocking down a lamppost. Not all is lost on those tuxes and gowns, though. Weehawken School Superintendent says several venues have already contacted the district offering to hold a second prom, most likely not at sea. Next to Newark, if you've driven down Dr. MLK Boulevard, you've likely noticed the city's so-called Castle on the Hill. It's a blighted but lavish 1888 Victorian-era mansion, once serving as a community hub. Plans are now in the works to revive its old bones. It was owned by Louise Scott in the 50s. Many believe she was Newark's first African-American millionaire. She ran a beauty school there and rented space to local churches and businesses. They all operated out of various floors in the 10,000 square foot home. But after the city took possession of the property through foreclosure in the 1980s, the mansion was neglected and vandalized. Now the city is partnering with a New York-based developer to restore the castle and build an entrepreneurial village to revitalize the neighborhood, bringing its purpose back full circle. Finally, Camden on the Battleship, New Jersey, where you can hear cannon shots ringing along the Delaware ahead of Memorial Day weekend. Battleship opening its doors for citizens and veterans to mark the passing of the tall ships that sailed up and down the river. It's all part of the Sail Philadelphia 2018 festival, where visitors can view other tall warships parading across the water. New Jersey's, though, is the most decorated in the nation. Once on board, you can check out artifacts and visit the museum. For many, though, it's an opportunity to reflect and honor those who served in the armed forces, especially those who gave their lives. To cap off the weekend, Battleship New Jersey will host fireworks and a family event on Saturday. And that's our Garden State Express for Friday, May 25th, 2018. Something up in your neighborhood? Tip us off. With just around 5 weeks to go, the legislature is hammering out details of Governor Phil Murphy's budget plan. It needs roughly $1.5 billion in new revenues to fund his proposals and meet obligations. It also hinges on buy-in from top Democratic lawmakers. Problem is, both the Senate President and Assembly Speaker aren't sold on it. And earlier this week, State Treasurer Elizabeth Mayer Moyo told the Budget Committee revenues are flat. Don't plan on an April surprise. Treasurer Moyo is joining us from Trenton. Thanks so much for being here. We know you have an especially busy week. So when you testified before the legislature, you said, listen, we need to urge these revenue raisers or we risk draconian cuts. What's on the list out of Governor Murphy's plan to be cut then?
Well, the governor has proposed a balanced budget. So he has proposed revenue raisers in order to get where we need to be in terms of funding, just to keep our fiscal ship afloat and to make a few investments in education and infrastructure that most seem to be in favor of. So the revenue raisers that he proposed will give us this balanced budget, and it's now in the legislature's hands to determine if they do not want some of the revenue raisers that are proposed, how will they present back a balanced budget? So they'll need to, look at the budget, look at what the funding priorities are, and make a determination. And we'll be in discussions with them. We want this to work out for the people of the state, so we will be working with the legislature. The governor will be working with leadership, and we anticipate a lot of discussions going on in the next 5 weeks.
So to be clear, Madam Treasurer, we're talking about raising the sales tax back to 7%. That was the trade-off from the gas tax agreement, as well as a millionaire's tax. That's a 10.75% increase on income earners over $1 million. How much revenue would that raise, and is that enough to sustain these plans moving forward? So that may help this budget year, but is that enough moving forward?
Well, every year we will be looking closely at how our revenue is matching our spending plan. As I mentioned, we have a constitutional obligation to present a balanced budget each and every year. So we'll be looking, there are a lot of, things that are tough to predict with each and every year, but we will be looking to make sure our revenue sources meet our expenditure plans. And if that has to be adjusted in future years, that's the action we'll be recommending. But the the gross income tax proposal that we have regarding the millionaire's tax would bring in, we're estimating approximately $770 million in revenue. That's a marginal tax increase, so it will only attach at the first dollar over $1 million. Unlike some other states, New York, for example, will reach back to the first dollar and apply that higher level to the first dollar earned. The New Jersey tax is marginal and will only attach at the first dollar. The sales tax restoration to 7%, which is where it was in 2016. It was lowered to 6.625 in January of this year. Will bring in approximately $545 million in revenues also. So those are our two main revenue initiatives. Are the new spending that we're proposing, 95% of it, it comes to roughly $660 million in new spending in this budget out of the $1.6 billion in revenues that we are proposing to raise. And that $660 million, over 90% of that is either going to education or infrastructure through New Jersey Transit, both areas that have been sorely underfunded over the past decade.
It wasn't long ago that you were sitting on that other side, in fact, on the Budget Committee. So if these proposals were put before you again now, and you were still on that side, would you vote for these revenue raisers, for this millionaire's tax, knowing the concern about over tax flight? Would you vote for that now?
Yes, because we've looked at, first of all, being on this side in the administration, we see everything here in terms of what the needs are and what the challenges are. And moving forward, in terms of the revenue raisers that we have to do, we really don't have a choice in the state. If we were to do nothing, if we were to add no new programs and just budget for growth, regular growth in our health care costs, our pension payment, we would have a deficit if we were to do nothing. We really are at the point where we have no choice but to bring in revenue raisers. So it's a challenging year. I understand that, having sat on the other side of this discussion. But we had to make some very tough choices this year. And, the governor's put forth a budget that provides sustainable revenue sources that can take us into future years. Not one-shots. We have a historic lack of reliance on one-shot revenue sources, under 1%. And we're also seeking to build up our surplus in this budget. That has been a priority of this governor. We've heard from ratings agencies that, the states that have emerged from trying fiscal times the most successfully, the states that came out of the last recession the quickest, are those that had built up strong rainy day funds that they could rely on when times were tough. Our proposed surplus is only 2% of our budget. It's $750 million. The rate we should be trying to get to is about 6 to 8% of our budget.
Madam Treasurer, you mentioned a rainy day. So quickly, before we have to wrap up, the black cloud that inevitably hangs over the budget every season is the unfunded pension liability. Even with it's a $3.2 billion contribution this year, it's still not enough, according to most actuaries, to get the state on track. So quickly for us, if you can, what's the long-term plan here?
The long-term plan is we've got to make that pension payment. That has to be made every year, and it's going to ramp up. There's no No ifs, ands, or buts about that. So we are going to have to make sure we can make that payment. We will not be able to do that without revenue sources to enable us to do that. A Pew study just came out yesterday talking about how, and part of our issue is the pension, the unfunded portion of our pension that puts us at risk. And it's looked at New Jersey as one of 2 states that are at real risk of being in trouble when the next economic downturn comes. So we have got to start making tough choices and raising the revenues necessary so that we can meet our fiscal obligations, not just this year, but working out into future years.
Okay, certainly a busy month ahead. State Treasurer Elizabeth Mayer Moyo, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now some noteworthy facts that help you know Jersey. Towns are on the hook for $1.9 billion in unused sick time for public workers. That's according to NJ Spotlight. An FDU Public Mind poll shows Republican Senate candidate Bob Hugin just 4 points behind incumbent Bob Menendez. It took 99,000 tons of stone to build the over 1,700-foot-long seawall in Atlantic City, and the Kruger-Scott Mansion in Newark was built by German beer baron Gottfried Kruger in 1888. If there's someone who you'd like to get to know Jersey, share. Use hashtag KnowJersey. To share any story you've seen tonight, go to njtvnews.org. I'm Brianna Venozzi. Thanks for joining us. Happy and safe travels this Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you back here Monday.
RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. NJM Insurance Group, serving the insurance needs of New Jersey residents and businesses for more than 100 years. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.